So I was watching the 2018 Oscar ceremony the other day, and as I started to watch, I had a few thoughts. Over the years, many films have won the coveted Best Picture award, and if I really think about it, I don't think I could even name 10 of them. These films are supposed to represent the very best of the years they were made, yet most of them have faded away to obscurity. I wanted to find out why that is. Over the next God knows how long, I'll be looking into the winners of the Best Picture Oscar one at a time to discuss how they innovated, how they aged, and how they are perceived today, while also sprinkling in my own opinion. My end goal is to figure out which of these movies are worthy of being placed in this theoretical cinematic wall of fame, and which films are best left forgotten. This is the first, and hopefully not the last installment, of the Oscar Retrospective.
Where the smile, a million lights.
Wings was released in January 1927, 9 years after the conclusion of World War I. The film was directed by ex-combat pilot William A. Wellman and followed two young men in love with the same woman, as they both enlist to become fighter pilots in the First World War. The film stars Charles Rogers and Richard Arlen, as well as Clara Bow, one of the most well-known movie stars of the silent era. The movie is well known for being the first ever winner of the Academy Award for Best Motion Picture, which secures its place in history kinda by default. But besides that, the movie did actually innovate the movie industry in pretty significant ways. This was the first ever movie to record actual in-air plane scenes, having the technology for an airborne camera system engineered by Clarence S. Irvine, which was used to capture close-up shots of the actors in flight, which was unheard of at the time the film was made. This innovation in filming technologies did have a consequence, and that being a shoot that lasted over 9 months, when most films at the time usually barely even shot for 2. At one point of production, Paramount sent an executive to the film set to complain to Wellman. Wellman simply told him he had 2 options, a trip home or a trip to the hospital. As the years have gone by, this film has obviously aged a fair bit. Beyond the obvious lack of sound, as this was before sound was widespread in the film industry, the film has a considerably pro-war tone which sticks out like a sore thumb when watched today. There are scenes where a protagonist's gun jams in a fight only for an enemy to wave and fly away because war was always chivalrous. And other scenes where a town would be bombed only for everyone to survive and proceed to wave and cheer as enemy fighters were shot down above. It all comes across as quite artificially optimistic and not a genuine depiction of the horrors of war. Of course, there is also the treatment of the female characters, who are not so much characters as they are objectives and goals for the main protagonist to achieve. Maybe with the exception of Clara Bow, who does actually play a part in the war effort throughout the film. I will talk more about Clara Bow in a moment. Today the film is obviously remembered by film fans as being the first winner of the Best Picture award. Or is it? In fact, in the first Oscar ceremony there were actually 2 separate awards which would eventually be combined to become the Best Picture award. Wings won the award for Outstanding Picture, while a movie by the name of Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans won the award for Best Unique and Artistic Picture. Some film fanatics today would argue that Sunrise is a superior movie and more deserving of the place in the spotlight. As it stands, however, it is commonly stated that Wings is considered the winner of the Best Picture for that year. In my opinion, Wings is a surprisingly enjoyable movie for how old it is. The action scenes, while not as impressively shot as today's movies, have a certain charm and impressive nature to them. Clara Bow's character actually ended up being a personal highlight for me. Her acting was pretty impressive as she managed to portray a decent amount of personality despite having no sound to back up her performance. The character is quirky and enjoyable to watch and helps to give the film a lighter comical tone at times. Clara Bow being my favourite part is kind of ironic, as Bow went on to state that she did not enjoy her involvement with Wings, stating, "Wings is a man's picture, and I'm just the whipped cream on top of the pie." Overall, Wings is a flawed movie, with its dated ideologies and at times very basic cardboard cutout characters and plots. But it can hardly be blamed for its flaws. It came out over 90 years ago when cinema was just beginning. For what it is, what it was, and what it did to evolve the medium of film, it definitely deserves your attention, and its spot on the cinematic wall of fame, which is the Oscar Award for Best Picture. This is where I intend to rate these movies against each other so far, so I can safely say that Wings takes the #1 spot, which kinda goes without saying. If you enjoyed this format of video, or if you think there's something I could do to improve it, or if you think I should just not do them ever again, I'd like you to post a comment down below just saying your opinions. And this is when I do that annoying YouTuber thing where I ask you to like, comment or subscribe if you enjoyed the video, but I guess pointing out that it is annoying doesn't make it any less annoying, but what the hell. Next up, the first ever MGM musical, The Broadway Melody.